Day, ladies and gentlemen, little sisters and brothers, allow me to ask you a series of questions, gentle strangers. Remember the video understanding when we read Uncle Ezekiel chapter 13, 20 through 23 in the Septuagint? You know, quote, "Therefore thus says the Lord God, Behold, I am against your pillows, whereby ye there confound souls, and I will tear them away from your arms, and will set at liberty their souls which ye pervert to scatter them. And I will tear your kerchiefs, and will rescue my people out of your hands, and they shall no longer be in your hands to be confounded. And ye shall know that I am the Lord, because ye have perverted the heart of the righteous, whereas I perverted him not, and that in order to strengthen the hands of the wicked, the evildoers, that he, the confounded, should not at all turn from his evil way and live. Therefore ye shall not see false visions, and ye shall no more utter prophecies. But I will deliver my people out of your hand, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. And I warned you then, when you combine this prophecy with Uncle Isaiah chapter 3's understanding, you know, the chicks, children, and leaders rule over his people and cause them to err. And when we look at the severity of the circumstances of what's written, thus realizing this prophecy is not fully fulfilled yet, combined with all of the hoopla around the upcoming 400-year celebrations that the white man mandated, Little Miss Ivy and I said that can only mean when Uncle Isaiah 66, etc. told us it will be the will of my God that takes the revolters and the ungodly away from us before we leave America. You remember that, right? The video series when we discovered that Chinaman was building the exact same ghost cities in Africa. And I begged you not to be beguiled by the watchmen's chicks confounding witchcraft and sorceries, in this case to me, grouping all so-called African Americans together with the synonymous phrase African diaspora. You remember, don't you? The encrypted video when she told us she always knew that day would come and changed not only the name of her channel to the ominous redirecting, but this was when she started her cultural and community campaign of terror. No longer is it Mount Zion a bust. Now it's I love Africa. No longer was it about black love. Now she does nothing but spew venomous hate towards men. Not to mention the sudden increase in extremely confounding, useless, and inflammatory content against an already known white man and his system. What's the reason for even saying any of that crap? Why is she doing this, you ponder? To confuse the unlearned, so to scatter them. And I told you then, be on the lookout for when the white man finally increases the pressure via student loan crackdowns, blatant disrespect, police killings, etc. And then a celebrated safety valve solution comes next. Why? Huh? Say it again. Why would the white man do this, you wonder? To use her unyielding desire for power over the man and put maximum pressure on the black man so she will use her emotions to react. You know, Hegelian dialect her with an offer she cannot refuse, so she, her children, and the weak-ass men that will follow her will willingly move to Africa, etc., when the time is right to fulfill the evildoer's Psalms 83 pledge. You know, to eliminate us once and for all. Do you remember all of that? Wait, I can't hear your answer because this is a video. Right. But if you do remember all of that, behold, chosen, the reason your God told you to wait on him. This is a transcript of Senator Lindsey Graham speaking at the, get this now, speaking at the Women's Entrepreneurs Conference, Women, Peace, and Security in the Ivory Coast, Africa, April 20th, 2019. In attendance with him are Senator Chris Coons, Senator John Barrasso, Senator Ben Sasse, Congressman Michael McCall, U.S. Aid Representative Mark Green, FCC officials, National Security Council officials, and Ivanka Trump. I'm going to let the beat rock so you can finally realize the spirit that guides the watchman and his chick is exactly what I've been trying to tell you all along. A freaking demon. Listen and perceive. Quote, this is Lindsey Graham speaking to a bunch of black women in Africa at an entrepreneurs conference. Listen to this. I hear what's happened to the Middle East is coming to Africa. That these religious wars are going to export themselves to the continent. And what brings me here is national security. I often ask at home 3 questions to every American audience. Are we at war? Most people will raise their hand. Then I'll say, with who? Then they will stare at me. And the last question is, what does winning look like? So I believe that all of us at war with a radical ideology that has no place for people of different religiously. That's what he says. And is hell on earth for women in particular. It's the enemy of mankind, not just the United States. It's an ideology that needs to be destroyed. And the only way you can destroy it is to empower women. Spattering of applause. Winning, from the American point of view, is that some of our soldiers will be needed, but not a lot. But most of the fighting will be done by people in the region. Those will be reliable partners. We are going to win this struggle. The only question is, how long will it take and how many of us die? The sooner we empower women, the quicker the war ends. So when I tell my colleagues back home that there's very few people in America more hawkish than I am when it comes to military action, I've seen the face of this enemy, and I have no use for them. But I've learned that winning a war is not about military force. Giving a young woman in a remote, poor region an education and a voice for herself and her children is a terrorist's worst nightmare. Example. Wow! Not only has feminism just been weaponized, just like our history series attests, Africa is a future death trap. But wait!